It's a sorry, sir. We are having some data fluctuation nearby.
Okay.
So, good afternoon, sir. And it's a pleasure to have you here. So, respected delegates from across country and continent, academia, a very good afternoon to one and all. This is Azeem from Department of Marketing Management. I take this opportunity to welcome you all on behalf of this organization committee of Nanak College Center and Research of Development of Marketing Management, Nanak College, for Day 5, the International Industry Academia Conclave on Education in a Post-COVID World Challenges and Knowledge Strategies. The Day 4 session was a rich 40 minutes knowledge sharing to all the students of this knowledge. Now, I would like to invite Dr. N.C. Rajashri and Ms. Maya Lakshmi for Guru Nanak College, Autonomous, Chennai, India, for welcome address.
A very good afternoon to all. So today, the day 5 of the International Industry Academia Conclave IIAC 2021. I welcome all the dignitaries and the respective participants to this program. Guru Nanak Center for Research, in association with Department of Commerce Marketing Management, organizes International Industry Academia Conclave IIAC 2021. The objective of the International Conclave is to bring together experts from industry and academia to discuss prime issues concerning industry and academia based on current societal requirement. We seek to explore avenues of possible fusion pertaining to current issues, as well as find plausible solutions to bridge corporate expectation with academic training. The theme of the conclave is Education in a Post-COVID World, Challenges and Novel Strategies. And it is the 5th day of the webinar series, and which was started from 15 to 2021, and There is a technical connection issue. So once again, welcome all of you to this International Industry Academia Conclave 2021, the last day. I welcome all of you, dear participants and respected dignitaries, to this program. So Guru Nanak College and Guru Nanak Center for Research, in association with Department of Commerce Marketing Management, organizes International Industry Academia Conclave IIAC 2021. The objective of the International Conclave is to bring together experts from industry and academia to discuss prime issues concerning industry and academia based on current societal issues. We seek to explore avenues of possible fusion pertaining to current issues, as well as to find plausible solutions to bridge corporate expectations with academic training. The theme of the conclave is Education in a Post-COVID World, Challenges and Novel Strategies, and it's the fifth day of the webinar series, which was started from 15/1/2021, and today is a valedictory session, 19/2/2021. The conclave invited UG/PG students, research scholars, and corporate professionals. Moving on to the details of the program, the day 1, 15/2/2021, commence with the welcome address of our respected principal, Dr. M.G. Raghunathan, followed by introduction to GNCR, Department of Commerce, EMM, and IIAC, that is the International Industry Academia Conclave 2021 by Dr. J. Jayanti, Dean Research, Guru Nanak Center for Research. The inaugural speaker for the day 1 was Bhavna Sugenta, Director, Malkia ENP Services, Private Limited. Also Management Consultant and Organizational Trainer, India. She discussed on the topic, Future Beyond Sustainability. The day 2, we had Mr. Dr. Yasser Mahfouz, who is an Associate Professor, College of Business Administration, University, Saudi Arabia. He discussed on the topic, Marketing in the Post-COVID Environment. The day 3 started with welcome address by Dr. LRS Kalanidhi, our respected Vice Principal, and we had resource person for the day 3, Dr. Suhail M. Ghosh, who is Associate Professor, Department of Marketing and Entrepreneurship, Dhofar University, Salalah, Oman. And the topic was COVID-19 and Entrepreneurship Education. Day 4, we have Ms. Suniti Ramesh, who is the CEO and Executive Director of Satvat Infocell Private Limited and founder Satvat Holistics Private Limited, Chennai. She discussed on the topic post-COVID mental balance. And today we have the 5th day. We have with us Mr. Mohamed Saheer, who is a human capital specialist from Sri Lanka. He's going to discuss on the topic rise of virtual and self-paced learning. A week-long Ego Mega event consists of participants from different parts of the world. I can surely say that the participant witnessed a memorable and a successful event. We welcome up with more intellectual and informative events in future. Stay connected with us and thank you. So over to you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure to be here addressing you all today. Thank you very much for the organizers for reaching me out and inviting me here today. I think Maya, there's an echo coming in.
Echo, okay, sir. Before going to the session, I request Dr. Ganapati Balasubramaniam to introduce our respected chief guest.
Good evening to one and all present here. It's my privilege to introduce the resource person of the day, Mohamed Azeem Saheer, for International Industry Academia Conclave 2021, organized by Nanak Center for Research in association with Department of Marketing Management. Zahir is an human capital specialist who brings with him more than 15 years of global experience in service industry, having worked in Sri Lanka, Qatar, and UAE markets. He possesses in-depth understanding of assessing diversified learning needs and aligning them with organization strategic objectives. Azeem is one of the first Bionicist certified emotional intelligence practitioner and ICF certified coaches in the country and at the global level. He combines a unique flavor of his program via live serious play, bringing the fun of our childhood favorite toy Leo and combining it with serious topics, enabling an immersion and into learning. Further broadcast to host EI Cafe with Azeem, which available in all major broadcast platforms. It's a privilege to have you with us, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much for your lovely introduction. Once again, I would like to thank all the organizers to reaching me out and having me in the panel today. So the topic is it's about self-paced learning, and I have put across a couple of slides to you all just to rephrase what we're going to talk about today. As part of human capital specialist, one of the key areas we face in the last year or so is about how we are going to adapt, how we are going to change the way of learning for the future. And it is we have gone fast forwarded our lives, professional and personal lives, 10 years ahead than what we are supposed to be, right? So this pandemic has brought a lot of opportunities in the market for many people. At the same time, there have been a lot of challenges. I think life is full of challenges. That's what life is called, as a life where we need to achieve those challenges. So in today's context, I'm going to just put forward a couple of concepts for you all, a couple of areas which I have researched and I've put across. As part of what I do is I help people to build their skills and develop progress towards their career professionally and personally as well, life as well. So I'm, as part of an emotionally intelligent practitioner, I always believe working with working with people means working with brains. So we have been going through a lot of difficulties, right, adapting to this change, because this we have not adapted in our life before. The previous health related pandemic was in the Spanish flu in 1929, right? Then after that we had crisis like financial crisis, but we didn't go to a wellness crisis like this, right? So we have gone a way forward, as I said, in technological advancement. The way I'm talking to you now is the result of COVID. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a little bit of insight. Yes, that was my introduction given by the should like some of the facts for thought for you all, right? Number one fact is about some like 1.3 to 1.5 billion students and youth across the planet are affected in the school and university closures, right? The last year itself, there have been like a lot of impact in terms of education, right? So they have to close it because we don't know how bad is this devil is about, right? So it is really important to make sure that our students and our children are safe. So we had to abide the introduction of closure of schools. At the same time, when you're coming to a corporate environment, everything was on hold because facilitation has been in person, right? Training has been in person. That's what the effectiveness comes in. With that, there have been a stop into that as well. So there has been another industry in terms of training and development, or coaching, or facilitation part has been hit by in this pandemic as well. Government around the world are making efforts to mitigate the immediate impact of school closures. Right? They've been working on a lot of avenues, a lot of processes, a lot of implementation of technological advancement to make sure to reduce the impact. But I believe still it has not been the perfect way of living so far in terms of education. Number three is more vulnerable and disadvantaged communities, and to facilitate continuity of education through remote learning. Now, after this COVID, suddenly we hear about Zoom, right? 2019, we didn't know anything about Zoom, Microsoft Teams. Some people would have known in technology, but in general public, me and you, like, right, we were like never knew. But suddenly the introduction of that, some of the components, some of the people of every part of the world were able to get into that particular access, but some couldn't because of the, like, they're not able to afford a data package to get into the Zoom classrooms, or they don't have a mobile phone, they don't have a laptop. Recently there was, we do have, like, you do have Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, we do have in Sri Lankan context called Lakshapati, or yeah, Kropati, right? So there was one girl who came, she was from a rural area from Sri Lankan context, from down south. uh, then how much you want to win? He said, she was said, I want to just won about 150,000 rupees. You can go up to 2 million, right? 150,000 rupees. And then, why you want? No, 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 we don't have a tab, we don't have a laptop for me to study. My father is awfully disabled, and I can't afford, my parents can't afford to buy me a laptop or buy me a data pack for me to learn online. So that sort of a impact, I believe. So in India also, we have similar latitude of people where have been disadvantaged part of it. The next part of, like, interrupted learning, right? Now, every schooling provides essential learning, and when schools are closed, children and youth are deprived of opportunity for growth and development. Now, here I'm going to telling is about, not about the education. I'm telling about the aspect of grooming, personal development, building that muscle of sporting. It for me, I got a lot through sports, extracurricular activities, getting into youth clubs, talking people. Those are development. Now, what has happened from last year onwards, especially, next example is my daughter. She's 7 year old in grade 3, and she don't have swimming, she don't have friends to mingle, she don't have, to have that development muscle of getting into that society is blocked, right? The last part I want to touch is poor nutrition. I know for a fact in India also, certain schools, they distribute, government school, they distribute meal, right? So because parents cannot afford, in Sri Lanka also we have, right, parents can't afford a breakfast or a lunch for that kid, so they are so much poor, right? So with this pandemic coming to picture, the lockdown, staying at home, online learning, this part of people didn't get that nutrition pack also, they don't have that food element coming into picture. So there again, a youth development in terms of nutrition, health, has been again blocked. So these are some of the facts I really want to put in place at our started aspect, because this is what we have to look out for. Now, when we talk about, what are the challenges we had in terms of COVID coming to picture in terms of education, because this is a big impact coming into corporate picture, right? Those youth in the universities, or the child who was coming into the from high school to the universities, they are going to lack a lot of social intelligence or emotional intelligence in terms of coming into a corporate is a different ball game than a university. Some of them are giving some internship to get adapted, but coming into a corporate is a different arena, right? So in that context, how the education system has been changed, we have to, like, these are challenges what we face. Number one is the teachers had a big tough time in terms of adapting to this particular new system of teaching. they had a confusion, and stress for teachers was very high, right? In a classroom, you see the kids, and still they struggle to manage these kids. But imagine in a virtual classroom, how do they, like, I know for a fact when at home, I see my daughter's teachers struggling a lot, right? So teachers had this challenge of controlling that, giving that attention to each individual, right, wasn't a tough call. What will happen because of that is that particular attention, lack of that particular attention, that student or the youth might get derailed from what he have to do. So imagine that sort of a people coming into the corporate arena, what sort of an environment they are going to build. Can they compete in the corporate market is one of the question mark, because corporate market is very competitive. You need to have that social, emotional, intellectual intelligence to beat that competition. Number 2 point, what really shook me out in terms of gaps in childcare. Now what happens is, let's take the lower grades, right? Most of the people, most of the countries, both the parents go to work, don't we? Right now, with the lockdown, with the closure of schools, what happened? um, Child is at home alone. If he or she don't have a sibling, if a parent is there, still the parents struggle to take care of that child, give that attention to support that child to take that higher studies, to take that lessons around. So childcare has been a big important, because we always say teacher is our second mom, right? Because they teach a lot. We spend in the school times or uni time a lot of time at the school, so the teachers look care. That care is a trust for the parents. They know their child is in a safe hand. At the same time, what happens when this happen? Their child is so isolated. They are at home, right? Nobody to talk, nobody to take care. Now what happened here? Suddenly their mindset, their focus start getting into other element, other substance, drug substance, right? They might go to the violence effect, because they get very distressed and distracted. At the same time, now the generations are more into tech savvy. They work with a lot of like video games, PS2, PS5, a lot of other elements, because you don't have the opportunity to go out. What happened when you start focusing on that? Their development start falling down again. When they are growing, when they go to the market, they will not able to get into that particular competitive market where they can manage the stress or manage the time. Those skills will be lack, because they are really focused on particular, they're isolated, they are alone, they will not be a team player. So with that context, the next company is rise of dropout rates goes high. Now this has been a big challenge in terms of schools, educational institutes, universities, because they are not producing high talented people. The reason being, again, coming to a community where the parents would have laid off because of the crisis of pandemic, because the businesses are not happening. See the indirect effect of these things. So with that, what will happen? The mentality of the child or the youth will be like, okay, I don't want to disturb my parents, let me go to what, the workforce, right? But they're very incomplete to go to the workforce, so they will go to very low level or normal job, right? You never know what his job is about. Might be like earning 1,000 rupees, 500 rupees per day, right? So what happens is a quality talent will be missed in terms of this particular so-called challenges, lockdown, because parents cannot afford them to send to school because they have been lost their job, one or two either, right? More the difficulty, more the element comes into picture. The youth mindset is about, they do care about their parents. So what they do is, I don't want to make my parents burden. So they will get out of that particular perspective, and they start going to workforce. But then again, we are missing out quality talent in terms of workforce. The next challenge, which I really connected with, is social isolation, right? uh, Now for my daughter's perspective, like, yes, we do enter, but she missed that connection between their friends. She missed the connection between their swimming class friend or badminton class friend, chess class, speech class, right? When that happens, the quality of that particular child or the youth will goes down, because when suddenly this person go to the corporate market, it is a very different environment where you have to work with the cross-functional, cross cultures. So that will lose the productivity for the organization. So it's again another challenge. Now, another perspective is, now when we go virtual, or we are doing online classes, now how effectively we can build this measuring and validating of the learning. Now, when we have these exams focus structure in the previous years, we know this student hadn't take this, so we know we have to improve. But can we run on online or virtually the same platform is one of the challenges. So is the whole perspective of bulk student getting out of the universities, getting into the markets, or we are going to send the best people getting out? How do we go to do that? How we're going to validate is one of the challenges every organizer or every institute and universities are struggling, right? Now, we can find a mechanism. Now, the question is, when are we going to find that mechanism, and when are we going to go normal? Are we going to go normal? Now, I do run a podcast called EI Cafe. So what I do is I meet a lot of global practitioners, coaches, entrepreneurs. When I ask them, is our leadership style going to go a traditional, or is it going to be really different? Are we going to go back again to the normal way? They're saying, no, Azeem, we are not going to go back again. You're not going to turn back. It's about just way forward. We have to learn how to manage virtually. We have to learn the leadership style of changing the landscape of leadership style. So these are need to be learned from the university students. How can we adapt to online or virtually or remote leadership, remote team working, remote collaboration, because it's going to be remote, right? So this is one of the challenges which I have identified and done some little research on it. The last factor, which is a very important factor, high economic cost. Now, when a parent send you to the uni or a school, it is just a one-time cost, right? A school fee, a books, a term fee, that's it. Now, upon that, because none of the schools or universities in institutes in Sri Lanka, they didn't come down on the prices. I don't know about Indian perspective, but they didn't come down on the prices of the tuition fees. But on top of that, we have to buy a laptop to the students. We have to have an internet connection, proper internet connection to we make sure we do consistently, and some technological stuff. And apart from that, we have to learn how to operate, right? So these are cost factors, plus the electricity cost, right? When we are locked down, our electricity bill is up because I am working from home, my wife is working from home, my child is in online class, right? So these become a burden. Imagine a parent who is single parent and who is trying to build up these elements, and imagine he or she get laid off, right? What will happen? Again, cost is high in terms of work. That has become a challenge, right? So these are the challenges which has changed the landscape of education, because when corporates are demanding very high profile, highly skilled people, right? Highly skilled people. You need to be educated, but highly skilled. This skill will not come alone. You need to be within a society. You need to be within a team, a group of people, where it can be derived into an aspect where we bring quality workforce to the workforce, a corporate world. That will increase the productivity, and it will be good for the country itself. Now, these are some of the challenges which I have identified in terms of learning. Now, how can we mitigate? What are the future trend is going to be is one of the key area we need to focus in terms of developing people. When you talk about that, I would like to show you way forward. How we are going to do this way forward hereafter. It is going to be a student-centered approach. Now, before, it is not a student-centered approach, it is a syllabus-centered approach. We have the syllabus, we cover this, and you put it out. Now, certain countries like Netherlands and some of the key elements, they have adopted this student-centered approach about a decade ago, and they have the advantage now of getting into that. When we become student-centered, that means we are customizing for each student the model. Now we will have 30 students in a classroom, might be 10 will be like really bright, they know like in and out, 10 will be medium, another 10 will be a bit not getting up to the standard. Now in that perspective, every teacher or lecturer need to have that focus coming student centered approach, because the reason being, this is the ideal time to have that approach rather than a syllabus approach. Because what great universities are measured by people, how many great people you have sent off from the university, right? So universities have that particular advantage of attracting more students coming to their universities when you have this student-centered approach, because you're focusing on students' skill set, knowledge set to build them up. That is one of the key areas. Number two, in terms of education, it is not going to be a one way or one shift schooling or uni way forward. It is going to be a couple of shift, right? So we need to adapt to that as well, because you cannot have everyday virtual learning. You need to bring those people into an emotional connection. Now let's example. Now I am delivering this from Sri Lanka, right? Now I have that lack of emotional because I don't see any of your participants from my eyes. Now it is very getting discomfort in that particular perspective, because me as a trainer, I love facilitator, I love to get into people, talk to people, meet the people, just have a mingle around. But delivering online is very tough because I don't understand the emotions, I don't understand the feelings of the people. Now when you don't have this, what will happen when you go to a corporate world? You will be like a robot, right? You go in the morning, work, come, no interaction, no social interaction. Now, where we gather is from the school or the uni, right? So, getting to school is a must. So, schools or universities need to adapt 2-shift or 3-shift schooling system to have that interaction coming in, right? Number three is one of the key element I would like to highlight: teaching versus learning. Teachers or lecturers need to figure out what, I think this is a very good initiative if we can take it up. What has happened is, I'll what I'm going to I'm going to bundle with the second next point also, teaching going tech. Now what we have been doing is, we have a syllabus, we start teaching according to the syllabus, right? Now understanding the concept of the student perspective is a question in that particular content, but going further you can't teach. It will not be a teaching, it need to be facilitation. Now me, I don't call as a trainer, I call as a facilitator. I don't train people. Training concept came from the word military, right? Military, they used to train, they have a process, they have a mechanism, daily routine, right? So that's why it is getting into that picture. But facilitation is about helping people to understand the concept, have that self-awareness coming in, and start approaching. You learn, these are the resources, try to capture, because everybody's, now 5 fingers are different, everybody's understandings are different, everybody's capability to acquire knowledge is different. So when we have facilitation mode, people start learning, right? When you teach, it's about forcing people to get that knowledge. Sometimes they will not get it because they don't understand, because a teacher will deliver in one phase, but these 5 people will cannot take that in one phase. So facilitation is about individual approach, people to start, they you with certain guidelines, and they need to start search and learn. That is about facilitation. Now what I do is facilitation. Now I'm one of the Sri Lanka's only Lego series play facilitator. What we do with Lego is, we help people to bring their inner feeling and what they have in the mindset in terms of a small toy, and start building and tell the story. Now I don't do anything, they bring up their own stories. That's what you have to do in terms of learning, right? With that concept, Zoom, MS Team, any other platform, teachers are going digital, teachers are going tech, right? So in that context, teachers need to learn the art of facilitating. Professors or lecturers need to learn the art of facilitating virtually, because it is not the same way you can deliver virtual like a classroom. You have to change your content, you have to change the way of explaining into it. Now how do you build interaction in a virtual room? Now you have a lot of softwares, you have Mural, you have Miro, you have Polware, you can get feedbacks, you can put in the breakout rooms. That's about learning that art of facilitation virtually, because you are going on a tech platform. Now I know in perspective of like softwares like Baiju and some of the other element, they have this content ready. Even in Sri Lanka, we have come a lot of platforms where teachers, get into that mobile apps and start teaching. Sorry, start facilitating, because there's a no two-way conversation there. Because it's one way. What they say is, this is what it is. For more resources, go and search, go and learn. What will happen? It will increase the students or the youth mindset in a different way, right? Because they start searching. They are not just taking the information in, they're like exploring their mind and trying to capture whatever the way possible they can, right? When you say 100 points, at least they will take about 20 points into their mindset. So that is really important. As part of teachers, facilitators, lecturers, you need to learn the art of teaching virtually. You cannot expect every student to respond. Sometimes they might be shy. So there you go, the emotional element, it's very difficult to. So those things we have to learn. Otherwise, what will happen? We are going to create a set of student or youth who will be going to the market with the ill capacity to perform. Then what will happen? They will get stressed up, dissatisfaction, less job performance, productivity is less. So it is really important to understand how you're going to take this about. So going forward, it's about facilitation. It's about learning, not teaching. You help them to do research, search, but same time, going virtual, you need to work around how to have that engagement coming in. It's not going to be a one way, right? The one before the last one is, one size does not fit everyone, right? This is one of the key element I really want to highlight. One size does not fit everyone. What does this mean, right? Now the online shift has pushed schools to be more flexible and students to be more independent. Okay, the post-pandemic world will see higher demand of adaptive learning opportunities and resources, right? It's going to be an adaptive. So education curriculums, teaching methods are expected to become increasingly more tailored to each student's individual needs, opening the chance for them to see their own pace and progresses. Now, many of the corporates are coming with this LMS, right? Learning management system, we call it, or e-learning, right? What they're trying to build is, now their context, it is very cost viable, because they don't need to bring facilitators in, they don't need to like have meals, productivity less, because everything on the LMS, learning management system, so they can learn on their easy form like Baiju, some of the application, and then they have in their mobiles also. So it will help people to learn in their own pace. Now, one of the good thing in this particular format is, each teacher can give the attention to these particular students, right? If we have 5 people in the classroom, is one is not doing well, that teacher have to adapt to that particular person to upskill more, because your e-learning platform or LMS system or online whatever it is will help you to see the assessment and the progress that person making. Based on that, lectures, professors, whoever facilitates that need to adjust for every child. So which is a good thing. Like before, 40 people in the classroom, teacher come and write on the board, just delivery will not work, right? So this is a good opportunity to increase the productivity or increase the skill level of the students. Blended learning. Now, as I said, shift schools, you need to have that blended learning coming also. Virtual plus classroom. Based on that adjusting, because that interaction need to come in. Personalized education is one of the key area every institute is planning to do, which is about, this pandemic has enabled the personal learning for students that will help them to learn their pace at the time of their choice, which is example. Now, one of the key areas with the technological advancement we are looking at, augment learning, use of artificial intelligence, right? So, you know, we have seen in movies like a lot of things we move here and there, but it is going to be reality, right? Based on the data what you have, based on the results what you have, that particular augmented learning is going to customize for each student. If the student is scored less, the system will enable this person to have more reading, more homework, or more research to be done. No, these are the trend. It's going to happen very soon, right? Online homework, tutorial assessment, right? Right. If a student is grade is good, is full at a stretch, is good marks, then the system will capture with the data and start working on second level advancement skill acquirement. So this will help the students and the lecturers to see how leveraged they are. So this will help to bring up the leverage. So end of the day, when they go to the corporate market, they are full with the skill. So this is one of the key, one of the area. Apart from that, I'll just share a couple of things before we wrap up. Right? Demand for short-term skill-based courses. It's one of the area every universities or schools or corporate, those who are the corporate entity who's here now, you need to focus on. Now, every year, every once in 5 years or 3 years, World Economic Forum puts out a set of skills which is highly demanded by many of the corporates. Just go have a look at it. Now you will have critical thinking, innovation, collaboration, digital, artificial intelligence, emotional intelligence. They list 10, right? Those are the top 10 for next 25 years or next 10 years, next 5 years. What you need to do is you need to build based on that requirement, especially the universities, if all the lecturers or any of the chancellors over here, right? You need to build those elements into your curriculum. So these people, when they go to the corporate market, they are fit and ready to work. Especially courses like emotional intelligence, like artificial intelligence, industry related courses. You need to have that short term based courses, right? Quickly can develop those skills. By the time they go into the market, it is really easy for you to understand these people are doing well. So what you're trying to do is you're going to make the intellectual understanding or the knowledge high, with even though pandemic, even though virtual. At the same time, you have small courses. Even you're locked down, even you're in quarantine, you can learn with those, and make the game changer for your future. Because when they go to the corporate, they are ready to learn. So my request will be, look out those skills and build those courses, so they are ready to get into the market when they are done with their skill, right? We did talk about blended learning. One of the key, another element I really want to highlight is about, uh, personalizing, we talked about. And more important is, as I said, teaching versus learning. I'm just trying to stress again, you need to figure it out. Oscar Wilde once said, education is an admirable thing, but it is well to remember from time to time that nothing that is worth learning can be taught. Right? Learning is the best mechanism you can ever do it. Now, I always do the facilitation. What I do is I just help them to understand what exactly future is about and what exactly they are now, and you self just bridge the gap. It's about knowledge sharing. You need to build those element around. Then only you can successfully find beating this challenge environment, right? So these are really important aspect I really want to put forward. If we can pick up those element, right? Changing student-centered models, bringing student-centered model, right? Have that blended learning coming to picture, because that human element is really important. More importantly, lecturers, teachers, facilitators getting into tech element and changing your perspective of delivering in a learning centered mode rather teaching centered mode, because you are helping the students to grow their neurons and mindset, which is really important. And one size does not fit all. With the introduction like technologies like AI, data analytics, RPAs, robotic process automation, coming into picture very soon in the education sector, will help the lecturers and facilitators to customize their platform to each students. And give the who need more focus need to be given in that particular aspect. So these are the some of the element I have would like to put forward. What are the strategies? This is a strategy you need to pick it up in terms of building the way forward, because there is no going back for us as normal as we do live. The new normal is with corona, with COVID. And and I would like to stress one of the important element. Never like before, there has been lot of emphasis on wellness, mental well-being, right? So if you want to look out productive, well fit, a student going to the market, bring that curriculum into your universities, because it's the future. AI and EI, emotional intelligence and artificial intelligence, is going to go hand in hand. So you need to bring that element into the pictures of your curriculums, right? Now, there is nothing like you being natural. Right now, I've been speaking to one of my colleague who runs an educational institute in Sri Lanka. He does degree program. Now he's introducing an LMS system for their students. What he's saying is, who are very matured people, who are working professionals doing the MBA program and BSc programs, using the platform of virtual learning is very effective. But youth category, age between 19 to 24, they are not getting engaged with the platform because they love to have fun. They want to go out, and meet people. So what he's saying is, virtual is not going to be sustainable, right? So this is what I'm going to say. Virtual is going to be sustainable because it is not natural. Now, as I said, I am delivering from here. Is it impact now, or when I am staying in front of you in an auditorium and delivering this is impactful? Which is impactful? Because most probably the second one, because I am with you all at that moment. You see my body language, you see my emotions, you may smile a lot, right? No digital distractions, right? So it is really important that while you have that sustainable plan, bring that mental well-being into your picture, mental wellness or wellness, whatever you call it. Because if you go like this, with the isolation coming into picture, with lot of distraction, less childcare, less attention, there will be rate of suicide going up, because nobody can manage the stress or pressure with the current global pandemic, with the business aspect or personal aspect. When we saw in 2008 and 9, when we have a financial crisis in the picture, everybody was going towards financial analytics, blah 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 blah, more into knowledge based content, because that was the market, that was the opportunity. Now I'm saying, my dear friends, the opportunity is going to be mental wellness, more emotional intelligence, more artificial intelligence. So you need to prepare your students, your youth, into a very, very perfect positive manner. We talked about a lot of positivity. We talked about positive aspiration. It is not enough just doing through on a slide or so. We need to practice this. For example, meditation. Have a meditation class in your lectures. Have a meditation session. Have a yoga session. Have some therapies. Have some counselors into the picture, because these are the things which is, my daughter is in grade 3, right? In the school, they have introduced a counselor whom we can approach. Now, these are the mechanism, because you cannot put a student in isolation, because it's going to hit his future as well as the corporate market. So those who are listening from the corporate arena, bring these into your workplace as well. Bring this element of mental well-being, emotional well-being. At the same time, bring that environment around also to support this, because there's been a lot of pressure, because the corporates also going on digital platforms, LMS and e-learning. There'll be a lot of interaction among the co-colleagues. So my dear friends, my key message is we cannot look back, we have to look forward. The way forward is adapting to these changes, being very proactive, building these muscles around, and start working on the new self-learning pace education system with little bit of emotional element coming into picture as well. So with that, I will wrap up my session. Right. And you can get connected with me on my all my platforms. You can search Azeem Saheer, you will get connected to it, right? On my LinkedIn, on my Facebook or Instagram, on my Twitter, and I host in YouTube as well. I have some lovely videos you can just access and see. I have my own podcast platform called EI Cafe, Emotion Intelligence Cafe. So I interview guest coaches, business owners, entrepreneurs, business leaders all around the world, and get their perspective. How can certain element can be improved, right? Share their knowledge, right? So that's from my end. Once again, I would like to thank the organizers having me, arranging me this opportunity. Thank you very much. It has been a great time. I believe my input would have made some difference for you all. So thank you very much once again. Thank you.
And finally, I would like to invite Ms. Uttara, Assistant Professor of Marketing Management, Department of Commerce, for vote of thanks. Please.
Thank you, Vignesh. Respected and most distinguished chief guest of the day, Mr. Mohamed Azeem Saheer, respected Principal Dr. M.G. Raghunathan, respected Vice Principal Dr. N.C. Rashtree, respected Dean Research Dr. J. Jayanti, beloved HOD M.L. Mayalakshmi, my dear students. It is my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks at the final day of the International Industry Academia Conclave IIAC 2021, organized by the Guru Nanak Center for Research in association with the Department of Marketing Management, Guru Nanak College, Chennai. Let me first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making this conclave a successful one. I would personally like to thank our chief guest, Mr. Mohamed Azeem Saheer, who honored this function with his inspirational thoughts. Thank you, sir. We are extremely grateful to our General Secretary and Correspondent, Sardar Manjit Singh Nair, whose guidance has always encouraged us. I take this opportunity to express our sincere thanks to our Principal, Dr. M.G. Raghunathan, the dynamic and flexible person in all academic matters, for gracing this occasion. His presence has immensely enhanced its importance. We are extremely grateful to you, sir, for this insightful presence. I express my deep gratitude to our respected Vice Principal, Dr. N.C. Rashtree, for guidance to us in all our activities. Ensure we always do the right thing in the right way. I would like to thank our Dean Research, Dr. J. Jayanti, for her moral support and guidance throughout this conclave. I thank M.L. Mayalakshmi, Head, Department of Marketing Management, for her unstinted support throughout this conclave. I thank Ms. Jayashree, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology, for her technical support throughout this conclave. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank all distinguished speakers who joined us for this international conclave from different parts of the world. I'm sure that the deliberations for these 5 days would have generated fresh ideas, insights, and solutions. Let me take this opportunity to thank one more time to all our speakers of the conclave. Day 1, Ms. Bhavana Sugantha. Day 2,
Dr. Yasir Mahfouz. Day 3, Dr. Suhail M. Ghosh. Day 4, Ms. Suriti Ramesh. Day 5, Mr. Mohamed Azeem Saheer. My heartfelt thanks to all HODs of various departments, deans and faculty members for their valuable contribution, guidance and encouragement. Last but not the least, I would like to thank our informed audience without whose participation and involvement no such dialogue is complete. Now, I would like to take permission from all the dignitaries present here to end the program. Thank you.